What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Good morning. It's your boy FlippinStoop. Oh, what a morning it's been, guys. And that's what I'm going to go over today is not everything in your eBay day or journey is going to go the way that you're planning it or expecting it to go. I woke up this morning to a basement flooded. Thank God I didn't get as close as far as to my inventory. And I was wondering, I couldn't sleep. So I got up about 3:30 and I come down to turn the computer on, and I'm standing in sitting water, so I had to shop back all that up. But the truth is, guys, is I didn't expect that. I could have allowed that one thing to ruin my whole entire day on eBay and get no production done. That's what I used to would have done. So you're going to have things come up in your day, guys, and you're going to have things discourage you from pushing forward. But the truth is it's a slow race, and I encourage you to be consistent on a daily basis, regardless of what the situations are. And I'll go over a little bit of that, how I started out. And I literally had about maybe 20 items to list when I first got started from my old store, because that's about all the items I had of clothing. And the majority of clothing I had, I didn't even want to put on the new store because it was something that I got excited for in the beginning, and I didn't know clothes, and I didn't know what would sell and what wouldn't sell. So a lot of it I didn't list anyways. And we went from there. We gradually built it up. We started out, making $100 to $200 a week, all the way up to $1,400, $1,500 to $2,000 a week. And how did we do that in 10 months time? Is by listing every single day and steadily growing. I'm going to take you guys over to the computer and show you the growth numbers. Now, you guys, I'm not making $6,000 a week, but we are making that over that a month. And to me, that feels pretty good. I've never made that kind of money. And this is something I'm doing all on my own. Nobody's giving me a set of principles to go by and saying, this is what you're going to do today, and this is how much I'm going to pay you. I'm able to make the amount of money that I want to make, and you can do the same thing. So I'm going to show you over here. One thing I would suggest, guys, I had really good traffic when I just did the campaign, the standard campaign on eBay, and then I tried that pay-per-click shit, and it has messed my traffic up really bad. If you don't know what you're doing on the pay-per-click, the pay-per-clicks, I wouldn't even suggest it. I'm actually just totally deleted it off my store, and I'm going back to the regular campaign. I used to promote every single item at 10%, and I'm going back to that, and people think that's crazy, 10% on every item, but I had hella sales, and I made damn good money doing 10% on every single item. So that's what I'm going to anyways. I'm going back to that, and I got to wait 15 minutes. Once you delete a campaign, you got to wait 15 minutes to go back into whatever was inside that campaign and re-update it to whatever campaign you decided to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and show you guys. A long time ago, I listened to Chris, and he was saying, like, if your numbers are all over the place, like mine is a little bit in here, but you seem to get more consistent here. This was a super day. This was somebody that bought like $400 worth of items from us at one time. But the truth is this number right now says 0. But that number, this number right here, the 7-day a week, this used to say $100 a week, guys, or $75 a week. This used to say about $800 to $1,200 a week, and the last 90 days used to say like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And if you gradually list, if you list every single day, your numbers will go up. Our week last week was a lot better than this. Last week we were over $2,000. But you see, we're steady over 40% increase. That is because I'm pushing my listing habit every single week. I'm making sure I'm listing the same amount of items. That's why, it's not perfectly across the board, but that's why it is pretty consistent across the board. Other than this one day here, and then we had a low day in here, wasn't the greatest, and neither was this day, but they're starting to pan out, and they're being pretty consistent. They're all over $200 days. And how I was able to do that is start out by listing 10 items a day, guys, and this is how many items we got in the store. Right now, I only got 1,715 items in the store. But do you see this number over here? My listing impressions dropped that much. It dropped that much once I changed my campaign. Once I changed my campaign, I've never seen, mine was always rising, my listing impressions. Now it's dropped 43%. And even my listing page views have dropped. My sales conversions went up. It's 2.1. I think that's pretty good. I'm making consistent sales every single day. But this number, it's been driving me nuts, and it's due to my campaign. It's due to because I switched to that pay-per-click, per click, and it shot to the moon, right? And then I eliminated. I said, wait a minute, I'm not paying $40 a day, even if somebody's not buying my item. I kind of think that's like robbing you. I think it's kind of silly, because it could just be bot clicks. Anybody could be. I'm not saying eBay's out to get you, but it could be set up to like, oh, you had 100 clicks today, so you're going to pay 10 cents on each one of them clicks. No, I'm not going to do that. I will pay when it sells, right? So I'm switching it all back to the campaign promotion. I've had the best of luck there, and I do have it set at 10% right now. And some people, like I say, think that's a little steep, but it works for me. And if I know I'm at a 10% ad rate, my price might be $1 or $2 more on my item. I'm not going to take it way to the moon, so where people got to pay a whole bunch more for my product, but 50 cents to 60 cents does add up when you're selling 500 to 1,000 items a month. Now, guys, again, every one of your days isn't going to go exactly the way you want it planned. What I feel like a successful business owner or just a successful person in the world does is everybody has things come up in their life, right? You're going to have things, things are going to come up in your life where you have a choice. I had either a choice today to go back up in my bed and crawl in bed and say the hell with this flood down here and the hell with eBay today because that just set me off, or I had the choice to do what I had to do, clean it up, get it wet, dry, vac up, and get back to work. And I made the right choice today. I could have stayed in a miserable mood because I'm not going to lie, it didn't put me in a good mood. And you wake up and see that and you got to do all that extra work. It didn't put me in a mood like, woohoo, I can't wait to wet, dry, vac shit for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Where I was thinking I was getting up 3:30 to get way ahead of my schedule and get way ahead of the game. And it come up that I had to do that. I had to take care of that business. So don't think that every day is going to go perfect. Just try to learn how to handle things better, right? Because as us being a 9-to-5er, we don't have to handle the big struggles in the business that, the boss has to when we're there. And we don't even realize what those little things can accumulate up to. When you got 99 customers complaining, you're getting a return here, you're getting a return there. You wake up to water on your basement floor and you have to do that instead of work. There's a whole bunch of different things that can happen in your life. Maybe you're sick and you don't feel like working or whatever. I strongly encourage you, don't let your mind overpower you. And if you do let your mind overpower you, let it be in positivity. Get yourself in a good mood, one way, shape, form, or another. And I was just watching another guy, Josh. I started watching on YouTube last night, and he's really good. His mindset's kind of like mine. eBay reselling is a lot more attitude and your mindset than it is actually doing what you're doing. Like the physical aspect of reselling is very simple. I'm not saying your feet won't get tired or you won't get bored, but that's where I said it's a mind game. You got to figure out a way. You got to have your mind on the prize. You got to know the reason you're doing this, because you don't want to punch in at a clock or in a time clock where you don't want to be at anymore, around people you don't want to be around anymore, with a jerk boss, or maybe you got a great boss, I don't know, but you feel like you're worth more money. I've always felt that way, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I've always felt the way that, as hard as I've always worked and throughout every job I've ever had, I'm like, I should be making more than $400 a week, right? Like, and I hate to say it, but you will always be middle class or below, regardless who you work for. I mean, unless you're in some corporate office where they're willing to pay you millions of dollars a year, you're never going to even hit close to your full potential working under somebody else. What we do, guys, is we give up on our dreams when we're a kid. Like, we're like, oh, we want to be this, we want to be this, we want to be a rapper, we want to be a basketball player, whatever, right? We give up on them dreams, we go to work, and we make somebody else's dreams come true. Now, do you really want to do that for the rest of your life? Because you could try out eBay and it get tough, and in the tough times, you decide to walk away and quit. Or you could persevere through that and grow and become a stronger individual and actually be able to have the things you want in life, guys. You only live one time. If you want to drive a Lamborghini, you can drive a Lamborghini. If you want to drive a Bentley, you can drive a Bentley. If you want to live in $1 million house, you can live in $1 million house. It's what are you going to sacrifice? What is your plan going to be to get there, right? People don't like to make plans. Most time you ever hear a person say, I don't like to make plans because plans can be broken. That's because that person is not a committed person. They're afraid of commitment. Why do you think so many relationships fail? And yada, 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 right? Because of commitment issues. Most people fear commitment because now you have to be what they call responsible, right? You start an eBay business, you have to be responsible. That was my biggest thing that I was fearful of when I first started reselling, because I've been committed to nothing in my entire life. Like, I've never committed any time to myself, period, to excel at anything in life. I kind of did in skateboarding when I was a kid. I got really good at skateboarding. But once again, I gave that away to go hang out with people that were drinking alcohol and smoking weed and dumb shit, right? So I threw that away. So I think one of people's biggest fear of reselling is the commitment part, because you even got to be committed when you're not getting paid. And that's tough, isn't it? It's tough when you're wherever you're at. I always say down because I'm down here. I'm in the basement area working. So when I'm down here and I'm putting in more work than I'm getting paid for, that is a very tough pill to swallow. Why? Because you go to your 9 to 5 and you think you're getting paid what you're worth, but you really isn't. You're really not. You're worth more than what you're getting paid for. If you were getting paid what you were worth, you wouldn't complain about your paychecks, and you wouldn't complain about being broke, and you wouldn't complain about this at work or that at work, right? Let's face it. I'm not saying everybody isn't getting paid what they're worth, because there definitely are people out there getting paid what they're worth. But the majority of us people in America and anywhere else are not getting paid what we truly could make on our own, and I'm living proof of that now. I never even thought I'd get close to $100,000 in a year, guys, working for anywhere else, because I didn't have a college education. And growing up in my era, it was like, if you don't got a college education, you're going to make $25,000 a year. And the crazy thing is everybody I know in business, not everybody, more people than not are just high school graduates or even high school dropouts, and they start hustling and grinding. So it's not about your education level when it comes to reselling, guys. And I'm not saying you shouldn't know what you're selling, because you should. You should be educated in that department, right? But just because you're educated in that department doesn't mean you use it with wisdom. Either wisdom and education are two different things. Wisdom is taking the education that you learned and actually applying it to your life. Like me making these videos, telling you guys what's been working for me. Now, if you actually apply this in your everyday life, it will work for you. If you are just listening to it for something to listen to, because you're about ready to start listening and you don't apply any of it to your reselling, then it is stupid. It is stupid knowledge for you. Then it is basically ignorant education, because education is education. Wisdom is wisdom. Wisdom is taking that education and applying it to your life. Now, I wish I would have did that at the beginning when I first started listening to Chris from Daily Refinement, guys. And he was like, number one thing is to get a niche, right? This is a couple years back ago or whatever. And I'm like, this dude don't know what he's talking about. The hell with him, dude. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to sell a little bit of everything. And I'm not saying you can't be successful with reselling everything. I'm just going to say this. It takes a lot more mental strain, and it takes you longer to list your items. But I should have jumped on that. And then finally, when my old store failed and I started this new store, I said, for once in my life, I'm going to listen to somebody that's further than me. And I started listening to people like Chris, and I started listening to people like Tech and Sports, and Rally Roots and all them guys. And guess what? It worked. And one of the biggest things all them guys talk about is being consistent. Consistency is the key to your success. And so is your mindset, though, because it's easy for you to say that you'll do this every single day, right? It's easy to say it, but actually do it. You do it when you don't want to do it. That's how champions are born, is when you don't want to do it, but you still do it. That's how legends are built. That's how people like Muhammad Ali was Muhammad Ali. That's how people like Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, and Oprah Winfrey is Oprah Winfrey. These people didn't their belly feel upset and say, oh, piss on it, I'm going to take the day off of talking to the world because I'm Oprah and I can do that, right? She didn't do that. She was committed, and she put her all into it, and now she's one of the richest women in the world. Now, I'm not saying it's all about being rich and wealthy, but I sure would much rather be on this planet with a little bit of coin in my pocket. I don't know about you guys, other than being dirt poor. I was dirt poor for 25 years. I lived in poverty. I was a mooch. I was a bum. I was broke by Monday, paid on Friday, broke on Sunday. That's it. I'm not saying I was managing my money the best or anything like that either, because I was not. But the truth is the work we were putting in with doing concrete work and construction and all this stuff like that, and there's no way you should get paid 1 week and be good for the month as much of hard work as you put in. I mean, it's anywhere. It's anywhere you go. You guys are working hard wherever you're at. That is not me trying to tell you to walk off your 9 to 5 today and start reselling, because you'll probably fail. You need capital to live on. You need living expense. You won't be able to make your bills if you just start today and start reselling right away. Now, we can now, but I wouldn't have been able to do this 9 months ago, 8 months ago, a year and a half ago when we really first started reselling. I wouldn't have been able to just quit my job, because I would have never had money for inventory. I would have never had my living expense. It would have been a big mess. If you're trying to do it all now, somehow, if you got fortunate and you bought a store out or something like that, and you have hundreds of thousands of items to list, start grinding hard. You're going to live broke for a little while and eating ramen noodles like I used to, but you can and will make it, guys. And it's really deep, and I don't think people understand the importance of the mental aspect of running a business. Everybody just thinks, okay, your hands right here, though, truthfully, these two things right here, and if you only got one, use one. I don't care if you only got one in a nub, use one in a nub. I mean, I got friends like that too. Whatever's the case, I got a guy that lives next door to me that has no legs anymore. He has prosthetics, and he operates a 40-acre farm all on his own. Does it on his own. I've had to go out there and pick him up off his nubs and put his legs back on for him. Like, that is the epitome right there that I'm talking about. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let anybody's. This is one big, huge thing, guys, that dictated my life a lot in my life, guys, is allowing what people think about you get inside you. It is none of your business what anybody thinks about you. Who gives a fuck, man? I always cared what other people thought about me and their opinions of me. That's why I never tried pursuing anything I wanted to. I was always like, well, if Tommy don't think I can do it, I probably can't do it. Oh God, that is poison to you. Don't even value the opinion of others unless they're trying to guide you in the right direction. Like, yeah, Sally, you can do this. You can be a reseller, and eventually you'll be able to walk off your 9 to 5 and do this for a full-time living. Now, if you got to listen to somebody like that, yeah, listen. But the majority of people listen. Majority of people that will tell you that you won't make it has never even tried it themselves. Because if they did, they wouldn't be talking about you can't make it, because they would be making it, right? So the majority of people you hear that is going to be trying to give you information, you shouldn't value their information at all. You can't listen to what somebody's saying that's never tried it. Like, what? How is their opinion or information any value? You know what they did? They heard somebody say most businesses fail within the first 2 years. That's what they heard. So they automatically presume they can't be one of the 20%, right? They automatically assume they can't and nobody else can around them. So that's the information they're giving you, some shit they heard. They never actually tried to start a company and run it on their own. Now, I'm here to tell you, it's not always sunshine and rainbows every single day, but it's worth it when you lay your head down at night and you know you're the one providing the food that's in your belly, in your family's belly, and the roof over your head, not somebody that you're working for. I don't know. I think it's more rewarding to me. I can literally, in the next 90 days, if I wanted to, double the amount of income that I'm making right now by working all day long and listing double the amount. Yesterday, I was able to list for the first time, guys. I set my record yesterday, and we're going to start talking about that a lot. Is your 1 time a week record. I want people to start, you don't have to listen to me, but I think it's a good way to challenge yourself once a week. Do your amount of the items that you list every single day, and then pick one day out of the week that you usually have more energy than I don't know, maybe a Wednesday you might not have as much energy as you do on a Monday. Maybe a Saturday you got more energy than you do on all the other days. Whatever. Pick a day and set out as many items as you can. Do your photography and list as hard as you can and try to hit a max every week. Like yesterday, I was able to hit 45 in one day. So the next Saturday, I'm going to shoot for 50 or 55. And what I believe strongly that this is going to do for me and what it can do for you is mentally have you start believing that, hey, I could do 45. It only took me 6 hours to do 45 items or 5 hours to do 45 items, right? Why couldn't I do that 2 times a week? Now, why couldn't I do that? Why can't I do that 7 times a week? Eventually, you'll start building confidence within yourself because if you're just listening, I'm going to tell you, because I've been doing it now been listing over 20 items now for over 5 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, somewhere around there, right? In the beginning, I was at 10, and I stayed there for a while and made sure I could be consistent there. But I've been listing 20 plus items. Now I'm at 35 items a day. So what I've been doing is gradually adding 1 here and there or 5 here and there whenever I feel confident enough. But I think it's good to do this once a week, max out. Yeah, I don't even care if you list 50 items a day right now, shoot for 60 in one day, right? And then the next week, try to beat 60. Pretty soon you'll be like, man, 60 really isn't taking me that long anymore, right? Or 50 really isn't taking me that long anymore. Why can't I do it every day? See, it'll start tricking your mind to believing that you can do this every single day, and that's how you do it. You challenge yourself. If you're not challenging yourself one way, shape, or form or another on eBay, you're staying stagnant, and you cannot grow if you're stagnant. You guys, I hope this video helped you out a little bit this morning. Just remember, everything's never going to go exactly the way as planned, but you can still accomplish your goals every single day with the proper mindset, right? You guys got to have that mindset, man. I'm not telling you how to think, but I'm telling you, if you start your morning off by winning in the morning and then realizing why you're doing what you're doing, when you don't want to do it, when you're miserable and your day's sucking, and because everybody's got one of them days, okay? You're not alone, trust me. Everybody's got a day where it's not good. Think about the reason why you're doing it, right? Because if you keep having a bad day, right? Some people have more than others. Some people have 4 days out of the week that are bad. Start working to have 3 days that are bad and 4 days that are good. And start working for 5. You know what I'm saying? It sounds silly, but seriously do that. And I'll start altering the person you are. But, if every time you have a bad day, you take a day off, you're never going to be able to leave your 9 to 5, right? You can cut. That's one great thing about working for somebody else is there's some places that'll let you call in 15 days and you'll still have your job, right? You do that with eBay, and you're gonna have to grind hard to get back on track, right? I mean, hard. You're gonna have to really push the boundaries. I hear this saying is miss a day, but don't miss any more than one. And the reason for that is because you start missing more than one day every once in a blue moon, what's going to happen is in your mind, you're going to start thinking, well, that didn't hurt that bad. I could do another day this week. And then you're going to build a habit out of taking days off, and that is not going to help your business grow. I love you guys all. It's your boy FlippinStoop, and I hope you guys have a rockin' blessed day. And I challenge you to take this challenge on, guys. Have fun with it a little bit. One day, just go ham on it and see how many I really believe you'll be really surprised on how far you can get. Now, pick something that you're used to listing. This is why I say a niche is so important. Pick something that you're used to listing and set a stack of them out higher than you usually set out and accomplish that goal. That is a win, okay? And people will be like, well, it makes no sense to list more items than what you usually list because you're only going to sell the amount of items as your lowest day of listing, which is pretty true. But what it's doing for your mind is getting you to build up the belief that you can list more if you really put the effort into it, and you can list more every single day, and you can really, really alter this past 3 months, guys, 2 months really, my income has quadrupled on eBay. It has literally went from $200 to $250 weeks to the majority of the time over $2,000 a week. Right now it's $14,900 or something like that. And I know it's staying consistent like this in another month. That'll be $3,000 or $4,000 a week. That's what I'm shooting for, is $5,000 a week. $10K I'm shooting for 10K a month right now. And once I get that, I'll shoot for 12. And you guys, once you hit a goal, it builds you confidence that you can reach that goal, right? So once you hit that 10K a month, shoot for 12. Maybe shoot for 11. Maybe shoot for 10.5. Whatever it is, whatever your goal is, that's totally up to you. It's up to you, right? Now don't go to 10 and then say, okay, now I want to make 100 grand in a month. You're not going to get there. Like you're setting your expectations too tall, too soon. Don't say that you can't make 100 grand in a month on eBay, because you can with enough employees for sure. But start, gradually building it up. I used to say, well, babe, once I can make $2,000, $2,500 in a month on eBay, I am making more money than my 9-to-5 was paying me, right? So once I was able to do that, I was done with my 9-to-5. I didn't go back. And never did I think that this fast was I going to be up in the $6,000 and $7,000 range. So that tells me at this pace, if I keep going by Q4, I should definitely be pushing $9,000 to $10,000 a month. That's how I feel that the growth is going right now. And with my growth numbers, it pretty much equals out to that's where it will be at. Look, if you guys don't have an idea of where you're going, how are you going to get there? Like people are like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm like, what's your plan? They're like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm like, don't do that. If you really want me to be honest with you, if you don't got a plan, you're not going to get there. You can't get to where you want to get to if you don't have directions to get there, right? If most people didn't have GPS, they wouldn't travel, right? Because they can't read a map. I'm just saying, like when I was a younger kid, they didn't have GPS. Read a road map, and trips were funner, I might believe. Because everybody's face wasn't in a phone. You were actually looking at the scenery and enjoying where you're going. But the truth is, if you don't have a written down plan of where you're trying to get to and how you're going to get there, like you got your big goals. Okay, I want to make $100,000 a year. How am I going to do that? Well, I got to make about $8,000 a month. About $277 a day. And I'm getting really close to the $277 a day consistently. Now that's not going to be 100 grand bring home, but it's going to be 100 grand net, right? So I'm over 200 a day. So I don't have much further away to get to the 277 every single day. Plus, if you make $277 in sales every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you're just over $100,000 a year. And I believe that's very feasible. Again, guys, for the longest time, my sales would never be at $100 a day. It was 40, 50, 60, and it gradually builds up the more and more you put in, and the more and more you stay consistent. If you stay consistent, I'm telling you, you can't lose on eBay. The only way you lose on eBay is if you lose yourself. If you're the only person that can make you fail on eBay. eBay is not going to make you fail. They want you to succeed. The more money that you make on eBay is the more money that they make. They are a multi-billion-dollar company. Trust me. They do not have the time to single out FlippinStoop and say, yeah, we're just going to mess with them this week. We're not going to give them any sales. Fuck no, they don't do that, man. If you're not putting in the work and if you're not getting consistent sales, it's something you're doing. It's something I'm doing. If I'm not getting consistent sales, if today for some reason I only make $50 in sales, that's because it was something I did a few weeks ago that I probably slacked a day or something, right? I probably only did 10 items or 15 items. That's what it would really be like, and that is our fault, not eBay's fault. Right? If you're getting consistent sales every single day, it's because you've been being consistent every single day. Love you guys all. It's your boy FlippinStoop. You guys rock on today.